Mute your microphone when you are not talking and keep your camera on. Use the raise hand or chat feature to ask questions and make this room a safe place to learn and share. Today, we will share reflections and experiences on how each of us can contribute to building peace around us. We will engage in insightful discussions with our esteemed speakers, who will share their experiences about how Indonesian youth can contribute for world peace. So, please join me in giving a warm welcome to the General Manager of Global Peace Foundation Indonesia, Ms. Cynthia Rahmi Utami, and our distinguished speakers. The first one is Mr. Marco Roncarati as the Social Affairs Officer, Social Development Division, and President for the UN ESCAP Staff Association. And the second one is Mr. Reza Aven Rosyadi as the Coordinator for Peace Project. The third one is Ms. Nurrahmi from Young Bridging Leaders. And the fourth speaker is Ms. Nur Holifa from the Global Peace Corps. And to all our university partners that had supported this webinar. Okay. And to start our program, I kindly invite everyone to listen and sing to our national anthem, Indonesia Raya. You can sing along or simply enjoy the moment as we honor our nation. Thank you, everyone. Now it is my honor to invite Ms. Cynthia Rahmi Utami, the General Manager of Global Peace Foundation Indonesia, to deliver the opening remarks. Ms. Cynthia, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Kakisi. Hello, leaders. In honor of the International Day of Peace, I am delighted to extend a warm welcome to everyone on this sixth series of our webinar with the theme Act Now for a Peaceful World. I want to express my sincere gratitude on behalf of Global Peace Foundation Indonesia to our speakers, Mr. Marco Roncarati, Teacher Ika, Mbak Olive, and Mas Aven, and also young leaders, educators, and peace-loving friends who are here with us today. We also want to express our gratitude to our partners who continue to walk with us and furthering our shared goals, as well as to our GPF Indonesia staff, interns, and volunteers who make work tirelessly behind the scenes. Today is possible because of your commitment. Friends, the International Day of Peace serves as a reminder that peace is essential, not a luxury. It is not merely the lack of conflict, but also the existence of fairness, communication, and also unity. Therefore, Act Now for a Peaceful World, our topic for today, is more than just a scholar. For each of us, it is a call to action. We are continuing our adventure to learn, share, and work together with this webinar. We have seen in the last 5 series how youth leadership, education, interfaith conversation, and digital platforms can be all effective tools for promoting peace. Today, in our 6th series, we are once again focusing on how ordinary people, particularly young people, can create extraordinary change. Why young people? That's the question. Youth are not only tomorrow leaders, that's what I believe, but today's change makers and also peace builders as well. We witness young people throughout the world taking the lead in innovative initiatives, establishing friendship across religious boundaries, creating inclusive classrooms, and advocating for justice in their local communities. Every day, youth demonstrate to us that peace starts with bravery and decisions. That's why today's session are so crucial. We'll hear from leaders who will discuss topics such as women's leadership in promoting resilience, the power of interfaith cooperation, fostering peace leadership in education, and also governance and equity. Every viewpoint will serve as a reminder that maintaining peace is a common duty across all ages, all spheres of society, all genders, and all religions. However, I also want to remind you that listening is not only the goal of this webinar. There are so many webinars, of course. It's about being motivated to move forward on your own, to become the owner. Every action counts, whether that action is mentoring a younger student, participating in an interfaith program, initiating a conversation on campus or schools, or as simple as making peace as priority in our everyday life. Peace become our lifestyle. So as we commemorate the International Day of Peace, let us pledge to act as well as to speak. Let's take action right now to bring about peace in our communities and the wider globe by being creative, compassionate, and also courageous. Let's keep dreaming together. Let's do something together, because together we can do it. We can create a greater impact. Together, let's demonstrate that a peaceful world is achievable, beginning with ourselves. So thank you, and I hope this webinar is inspiring and impactful. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Miss Cynthia, for your inspiring opening remarks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to introduce our moderator who will guide us through today's sessions and discussions. Our moderator is Cherin Angelica from Global Peace Foundation Indonesia. Cherin is a pioneer peace builder from Global Peace Leadership Corps, one of the GPF Indonesia's program. She recently serves as the partnership and sponsorship lead in GPF Indonesia's volunteer team, where she plays a key role in organizing peace initiatives and mobilizing youth participation. And through her leadership and commitment, Sherin continues to support GPF's mission by fostering collaboration, empowering the young people, and promoting a culture of peace at the grassroots level. Now, she will facilitate our sessions, guiding the discussions, and engaging with our speakers and participants. Please welcome our moderator, Cherin.
Thank you, Kak Kisi. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here with you as the moderator for today's webinar for this International Day of Peace. We are celebrating a series of exciting events from the Young Bridging Leader programs, Peace Project, and a design competition with our beloved sponsor, Miridi or Miri Canvas, with Indonesian rupiah 1 million in prize for Indonesian participants to many more inspiring activities. As part of this celebration, we have also prepared this special webinar to encourage all of us to act now for a peaceful world. Here is how our session will flow. We will have 4 presentations from 4 different speakers from different backgrounds. So please welcome on board Marco Roncarati, Reza Aven Rosyadi, Ibu Ika Nurrahmi, and Nur Khalifah. After the last presentation, we will continue with a Q&A session where you will have the chance to share your thoughts and questions. And for the surprise, we have a small fun part for this session. The best question will win a prize. And so I will invite you all to stay engaged and active throughout our discussion. Without further ado, let's begin our first session. Our first speaker is Marco Roncarati from UN ESCAP. He will talk about equity, governance, and youth building sustainable peace. So please allow me to introduce him a little bit. Marco Roncarati has 5 London University degrees covering anthropology, business, development studies, economic, psychology, and sociology. Since 2005, he has worked for UN ESCAP mainly on socio-economic and demographic issues. While promoting health, good governance, equity, and sustainability, in 2017, he received the Global Peace Service Award for working supporting youth, and he currently serves as the president of UN ESCAP Staff Association. So, please, let's give him a warm welcome. Hello, Mr. Marco Roncarati.
Hello, everybody. Should I talk? We're a little bit before in anticipation of schedule. Is that okay to start?
It's okay.
Okay, very,
can-
very pleased to be here. Yes, saya masih cinta Indonesia. Saya belajar bahasa Indonesia kira-kira 30 tahun yang lalu masih ingat a few of it at least. Okay, so let's maybe share the PowerPoint presentation purely because it just allows us to focus on some of the key things, but also there's some images which may be able to stimulate your imagination and ways to look forward. So I'll focus on these key issues: equity, governance, and building sustainable peace, and the role young people have in that. So if we go to the next slide, we look at equity. Equity is part of a group of concepts here. It doesn't come across as the ultimate concept, although it's very important in society. In reality, we have a situation of great inequality. We then often hear about how we address that through equality. And equality means giving people the same amount of things, which may work under certain settings, but in this image, you clearly see that anybody who is disadvantaged would still not benefit. They wouldn't be able to see the gain. So equity takes it a step further, and it looks at giving people things or assets or opportunities based on their needs. So the person on the right has the greatest need, so they are given more support. The person on the left doesn't need any support, so they don't They don't get any support. So that would be an ideal situation. However, we're still functioning in a society in which there are barriers. And that's why we have the extreme right image of liberation, trying to create systems where we actually can do things more efficiently and at less cost, because you don't have to build walls so much. You can have, everyone can survive without it. Then you don't even have to invest in all the subsidies and so on. Much of this is dependent on trying to see ourselves, and you young people here, I really hope you become leaders, not just of the future, but now, and try and work towards societies where we have greater peace, greater equity, greater liberation. The thing is, our systems are largely built on competitive societies. Yeah, we have competitive systems where people compete, and it's good to a certain extent. It can increase productivity, but it does contribute, or it is actually, it leads to inequality. The capitalist system, the idea of perfect competition is that rules are equal, but outcomes are unequal. So it makes sense that it's going to result in inequality. So we have to have ways to address this inequality, and through subsidies and the like, or through liberation. So it's important to understand these things as we push for change. I know in Indonesia you've had some recent challenges, and we're trying to see more equitable societies, but we have to use reason, we have to use research, we have to use conscience. Something which we face in society is a great hierarchy. You have different levels. You have people who are very high up and people who are very low down. And that is also problematic, because it contributes to this inequality. It can contribute to abuse of authority and so on. So it's better to try and develop our systems. And I would encourage you to do this in whatever unit you're working in. If you're working as a group, try and think of the concept of holarchy. The holarchy is a system where all parts work for the good of the whole. So everybody is trying with a common objective. Nobody feels more important than anybody else, because they all try to contribute to a greater good. Perfect examples are the human body. In the human body, all the parts work for the good of the whole. Another example is the ecosystem. Things work for the good of the whole, for the collective benefit. There's no need for have winners or losers. So these are some of the things we should bear in mind when we move on to the next slide. And this is governance. The next slide has a schematic indication of governance, and what are the characteristics of good governance. Now, good governance, you see there are 8. It's an octagonal shape, and it has 8 characteristics. This is research which was actually undertaken by ESCAP, the United Nations entity where I work, many years ago, and we tried to promote this. Sorry, it's not the clearest image because it's from quite an old document. So we have the equitable aspect towards the bottom right there. So being equitable and inclusive, this is fundamental in governance. If we go around clockwise, being efficient and effective is also very important. You need to have systems which use resources to the best way possible, and they're efficient. Following rule of law, this is fundamental. We as human beings tend to have a side of us which we like to follow free will, and sometimes it's not good for society. If I drive very fast, it may not be good for other drivers, for example. So we need laws in place to get people to live collectively in a more harmonious way. Now, participatory, this is something I'm going to come back to in a little bit. It's fundamental that people participate. If you don't participate, you cannot change things. And I like the speaker early on spoke about being agents of change, spoke about sharing, caring, getting involved. It's important to get involved. Then we have consensus oriented. So we have to try and seek consensus. You can have voting. Voting will also lead to a consensus, but it can be just through discussion and agreement and hopefully overcoming any disagreements. The other two, beyond the next two, accountability and transparency, or being accountable and being transparent, are fundamental too, because people have to be accountable. They have to be responsible for their actions. Leaders or anybody who is in a position where they're trying to contribute to some initiative has to be accountable for their actions. You have to accept if you didn't do something right, you try and move on. Or it's like if you offend somebody, say sorry to them. Don't just leave it. Try and be accountable for your actions. And transparent, not hiding things. We should be transparent. We should share what we do. We should be honest. And it's not so much for you, but it's for something you should advocate for. Your leaders, your politicians, the business leaders, they should all be transparent, show what their finances are, show how they got their wealth. Yeah, we have to try and push for this. The modality, the way we do this, we'll come to in a moment. The eighth and final characteristic is being responsive. It's important, and we're looking at building sustainable peace. Being responsive means able to change and adjust. So we need to be able to change and adjust depending on circumstances. Some of the biggest changes we see now, we have climate change, but there are other changes, technological changes, which are happening, artificial intelligence. These things are changing very rapidly. We have to be aware of them. We have to be able to adjust and respond to them. If we move on to the next slide, we'll look at the importance of youth or young people. The next slide shows the Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 of these, and young people really should be at the center of this development process. Some of the key goals are goal 3 on health. It's very important. Goal 4 on education, important also. Goal 5 on gender equality. Many of these goals are relevant. Goal 8 on employment and so on. We have a series of goals which young people have to get involved in because these cover sustainable development in all its aspects. We have climate change, we have life on land, life underwater, we have cities, we have innovation, and we have an SDG up there near the top, SDG 16, which I'll come back to shortly, because this relates to peace and governance and inclusive societies. So another click, please. And what we have here, when we click on the next one, is that SDG 16. One more click, I think we get, sorry, maybe not. Maybe I didn't put the icon. We'll leave it just in case we mess it. Yeah, there we go, 16. The click of SDG 16. So peace, justice, and strong institutions. It's a very good sustainable development goal. It really is the cornerstone of much of the way activities should be carried out. So promoting peaceful, inclusive societies for sustainable development. Again, reducing, access to justice, building effective, accountable. We mentioned that in good governance and inclusive institutions at all levels. Now, the focus is important here. Reducing violence. Now, when we talk about peace, actually, a step further is non-violence, because some leaders will say that wars are necessary to attain peace. Now, really peaceful people, non-violent people would not agree with that. You can get change without violence.
Hi, Mr. Marco Roncarati. Are you there? Okay.
I may have been logged out. I'm not sure. I'm
Okay.
trying to join again.
Take
Okay,
your time.
I'll just, sorry about that.
It's okay.
It kind of did an automatic change. Okay, so we're looking next at combating organized crime and corruption. Very important that these are there. If we just go back a slide, just to finish off, the last one is, again, building the responsive, transparent, and participatory institutions. That goes back to good governance. Now, we're going to move to the next slide, and this looks at the future, I would say. If you look carefully at this image, what do you see? Just wait. You wait carefully, and you wait, and you wait, and you wait. And you look, and you slowly see things clearer. Now, a wise person once said, look deep into nature and you will see everything clearer. And that wise person was Albert Einstein. He was a great believer in using nature as a teacher. You may have heard of Leonardo da Vinci as well, an artist. His inspiration came from nature. So we need to reconnect with nature, because that is where we see these hierarchic systems where things work for the good of the whole. So connected with nature, we have that common grounding which we all can relate to. Albert Einstein also had another good one, I would say, and this relates to building sustainable peace and young people getting involved. It also relates to the thing about nonviolence and participation. Albert Einstein said that the world is a dangerous place, not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing about it. So it's very important to participate. We mentioned that in governance. Do participate, get involved, do what you can. Remember, use wisdom, use wise thinking. Think about the collective. Don't think about the individual. Think how you can work as a group for better things, for common goods. And use strategy, use evidence. A good evidence base is very important. You build on evidence, you can prove things. But the other things, don't create enemies. If you're working with an opposition, try and see things on common ground. Always try and work to find that. The future is much more easily attained in a peaceful manner. If we have one more click, we'll try and build it, or we'll try and wrap it up with going back to basics. On the left is an image which is current day. It's a school setting in rural Africa. On the right is what many of us are used to. Everything is in your mobile phone. You have literally everything. Now, I'm not saying that one is better than the other. I'm saying we have to use both, but we should not be slave to technology. We cannot forget about the human connection. Often people spend more time on their phone than face to face with other people. We got to use the phone in a limited manner, just for convenience. Spend time with each other. Have care and kindness. Use knowledge and wisdom. Try and use that higher understanding of knowledge. And the other thing is hard work. Yeah, we can't get by without hard work. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. We should enjoy working. We should see that we're contributing to something, so that the hard work can be seen as a good thing. It makes you feel more valued. It makes you'll sleep better at night if you work hard. If you sit around doing nothing and being lazy, I guarantee you won't have a good night's sleep. So think about the greater good. Think about the collective. I'll wrap it up here. I really wish I would
Uh-uh. Hi, Mr. Roncarati. Are you there? Okay, I think. Oh, there you go.
I will say goodbye. Thank you again.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Marco Roncarati. And it's a very meaningful discussion about how unity, equity, governments, and youth can build sustainable peace. And also, I got some inspiring words from you that it looks from Albert Einstein that the world is a dangerous place, and those who is not because who is doing the evil, but it's about who is doing something not good and only not doing something about that and just only look on that. And thank you for that inspiring words because it's related to our next speaker. It's from for our second session, our speaker is Reza Aven Rosyadi as Peace Project Coordinator. I will give you a short explanation about him. And also, it's the same like how Mr. Marco Roncarati said that he's doing some action in Jakarta too. He's currently a sociology student at UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta and served as project officer at the Laboratory of Sociology at his university. And also, he is beyond his academic creative pursuits, he is actively involved in peace building initiative and volunteering as an event coordinator for the Peace Project at Global Peace Foundation Indonesia. And also, currently, he is being the Peace Project coordinator from Jakarta. And please, he will share with us on youth-driven interfaith collaboration for a culture of peace. In his presentation, he will tell us about the role of interfaith dialogue in bridging difference among youth, lessons from the Peace Project, and empowering young people as peace builders. So please join me in giving a warm virtual welcome for Aven.
Hello, am I audible? Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Very happy to be here. Thank you for GPF Indonesia for inviting me as a speaker today. So maybe you can show the presentation. Yep. Okay, hello everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to see you all today. I would like to say thank you to GPF Indonesia for having me today as a speaker. Yeah, today we are welcoming and commemorate International Day of Peace, which is we need to raising and embracing awareness for bringing peace in our daily life. Such Miss Tia said, let's make peace as our daily lifestyle. Yeah, so I am the coordinator of this project in Jakarta, and let me introduce myself. My name is Aven, and I'm college student. I'm 21 years old, and I'm currently in student in sociology subject. So basically, in sociology and also in peace studies, we learn that peace is not just about ignoring conflict. Peace is not just about the absence of violence, but exactly peace is how we learn and understand human being, to learn how we could keep the sparking of love in human heart. And peace is to provide inclusivity and place for humankind to share compassion and grace. Yeah, uh, maybe we it has been exhausted lately. Maybe a lot of us have read or heard or feel that our world today was surrounded by conflict. Our our world today was surrounded by violence, discrimination, marginalization, environment degradation, and so on and so on. Yeah, these bad things happen everywhere over the world. Thousand, billion, or even million of innocent souls was murdered by cruelty and evil desire. So, how conflict arises is the important question. According to German sociologists, it is my favorite sociologist also, uh, Jürgen Habermas said that oftentimes conflict was raised because there is no proper communication, and therefore there is no mutual understanding. Um, let's make a simple example. In the smallest social group, such a family, we know, such a family, how many times we have spent our time to speak and to have the conversation with parents or siblings. That's why even in our closest circles, we still fall in conflict in our family, in our with our friends. We still fall in conflict. It's sign and it show that we just make a relationship, not the mutual understanding. That's the point. Mutual understanding is the most effective way to build peace. Um, in wider society, especially in Indonesia, we live in the largest archipelago country in the world. We speak with 1,000 of local languages. We live with 1,000 of ethnicity and practicing a lot of religion and faith. And it is so incredible. It's so wonderful. Maybe it's kind of wealthiness and luckiness for us who was born here, but at the same time we are facing some serious disintegration threat or conflict potential. So maybe we can go next. Yeah, uh, exactly. The role of intercultural interfaith dialogue is to bridging differences among youth and provide the space for them to interact and also to build bond with people or someone who has different identity or background. So what are the objectives? So for the first, the objective is to tackle any discrimination action or conflict tension. And in our multicultural society, yeah, we need to break down any stereotype or negative stigma between social identity. Therefore, we can reach mutual understanding. We also learn and uh, practicing about humanity. Humanity taught us that we are one human family, regardless our skin color, religion, ethnicity, and so on and so on. Indeed, that we are actually working in Global Peace Foundation Indonesia throughout its gorgeous principle. It's such an incredible principle that said one family under God, which is it's time for us to focus on our shared values, not divided by our differences. Our shared values is we are live in the same world. We are live in the one planet, and that's why we are one human family. Yeah, when we live when we live in up dialogue, it's exactly the profound way to prevent the conflict. Yeah, we can go next. Yeah, as a coordinator of peace project, there are some lessons from this project. Uh, Practicing bridge building through GPF Indonesia approaches. So there are some lessons that I wrote here. Yeah, for the first, uh, we know from this project and we learn from this project that peace was built by good leadership. In a simple way, we can define peace is the result of the wise leadership. In case maybe we should minimize and we should reducing the potential of conflict in our disintegration in our society. Yeah, so peace is the result of the West leadership, the result of the good leadership. This project was conducted in several cities in Indonesia, such as Jakarta, Surabaya, Semarang, Bandung, Palangkaraya, and more region. Well, we hope can expand our peace project in other cities in Indonesia. And in each chapter we have a volunteer community. So basically this project was organized by youth. They are learning how to lead and how to organize social community based on these values. Yeah, we can go next, please. Yeah. For the second is embracing youth for great teamwork. This project was developed through good teamwork instead of the individual work. In our internal community in this project volunteer, we always try to encourage our volunteer to be a peace builder, make them grow together in supportive community. Therefore, we we uh, we sometimes provide capacity building for improving knowledge and skill to our volunteers. Uh, that's why we can use the capacity building and also the knowledge and skill that we gained from capacity building to serve in community service in this project. And for the extra context, we have collaborated with several communities, including religious communities, interfaith communities, NGO, social enterprise, journalist media, worship places, educational institution, food brand, and etc. Yeah, for us in this project in Global Peace Foundation Indonesia, teamwork is involving a lot of human resources, which is have diverse characters, skills, powers, and we uh, use the human resources to contribute to our social initiative in a proper way. We can go next. Yeah, back to the previous slide. Yeah, growing, and for the third is growing ownership. Yeah, ownership is always correlated with responsibility. In this project, we learned that peace and justice is not only the responsibility of government or several people, but it's also our responsibility for creating a better world. Ownership encourages youth uh, to make action confidently, even by small action. We believe it will contribute a better impact, even by small action. That's why Peace Project always appreciate a person brave, who brave in great initiative and willing to make a good impact. Yeah, you can go next. Yeah, so the question is why youth matter for peace building? Why youth is so important for peace building? We can read and we can uh, learn by data based on data by Indonesia Intelligence Agency (BIN) in 2019 reported that individuals aged 17 until 24 years old were highly susceptible to radicalization. And we can read to BNPT survey 2001 to millennials in Indonesia. 85% of Indonesian millennials are exposed to radical ideologies via social media. yeah, it's horrible. We was penetrated by conservatism in many ways, such as maybe a social environment, maybe education, media, social media, trauma of conflict, and so on and so on. That's why uh, that's why we should learn about humanity to tackle and to against the conservatism and also the radicalism our uh, in our environment. We can go next. Yeah, what should we do? That's why I said before that we should learn about humanity and practicing compassion to others, regardless their identity and regardless their color, skin, regardless their ethnicity, and so on and so on. And youth should have a positive social community. Youth should have a supportive social community for self-improvement, and through this all you'd have a culture of service. Yeah, and as we know that especially millennials and Gen Z, they are so creative. That's why youth were the most active users on social media, should spreading the value of peace in a creative way. For us, peace can be presented through many expressions such art, social movement, education, and etc. Yeah, can you go next? Yep, it's the last slide. It's a very interesting, very great quote by Nayirah Wahid. Uh, it said that we don't need more successful people today. We need more healers, peacemakers, restorers, storytellers, and lovers of all kinds. Yeah, it's so touchful. It's so touched my heart because we together we realized together that our world today is not good anyway. It's surrounded by conflict, chaos, and discrimination everywhere. So yeah, it's simple. Like we don't need more successful people. We don't need billionaire. We don't need more uh, artists, or we don't need more rich men. We just need more healers, peacemakers, restorers, storytellers, and lovers of all kinds. Yeah, maybe it's also uh, the hope, and we can make it real together. After this session, we can practicing peace. We can represent ourselves to be healers and peacemakers. That's all for me. Maybe we can connect, and yeah, if you have question, just tell me. You can contact me in my social media. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you, Aven. And something that I learned from Aven presentation that we need to learn some humanity, practice compassion towards other regardless of their identity. And also I got some I can see some action that you present from this project that you guys export a wise leadership and something that is start from yourself, and also peace was built by good leadership and also teamwork and growing ownership by knowing that everything that you do is for others and to do good for others too. Thank you, Afen, for sharing about that. And later on, we'll have some Q&A session with you and Marco. But right now, I need to go for the next speaker. Thank you, Aven. Okay, now we move on to our third speaker for today. We have Ibu Ika Nurrahmi from Young Bridging Leader. She is a teacher at SMP Islam Manbaul Ulum or Islam Manbaul Ulum High School, Junior High School, and the founder of impactful student initiative at her own school. Among them, there are Advocate community, which focus on raising student awareness and action on environmental issues, and the Golden Girls, a study-led program that empowers young women to develop confidence, leadership, and creativity. Through this initiative, Ms. Ika has been inspiring her students to grow not only academically, but also as a change maker in their community. Today, she will present on nurturing peace leadership through education, and her presentation will highlight how the role of teacher in shaping values of peace and empathy, mentorship, and youth empowerment, and transforming classroom into communities of peace. So let's pay attention and give him a warm welcome. Hi, Buika. Good afternoon. Oh, wait.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. I'd like to introduce myself first. My name is Ika Nurrahmi, as Mbak Sherin said. Now, I'm still teaching in junior school. The name of the school is SMP Islam Mambaul Ulum, and it is located in a small city near Surabaya. The people usually call it with Gresik. Okay, yeah. And then in our school, age is about 11 until 15 years old. Yeah. Okay. Would you mind to share? Slide. Okay. Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for Global Peace Foundation to give me a chance to share my experience and learn together with all of you here. Okay. I got a chance to learn together about nurturing peace leadership through education. Okay. As the complex word, we know that the role of education extends far beyond the traditional metrics of literacy and numeracy. And in school, the school is not merely institution for academic instructions. They are foundational environments for shaping social and cultural values, norms, and attitudes. And so many peace leaders in the world are grown up through education from the school. Okay. Now let's move. What are the keywords that we are going to learn together? The first one is about the role of teachers in shaping the use of peace and empathy. Okay. And the second, mentorship and youth empowerment. The third one, transforming classrooms into communities of peace. Okay. So I'd like to tell you first about the role of teachers in shaping values of peace and empathy. Okay, please for the next slide. Okay. There is a quote that I think all of us already know, that knowledge is nothing without value, like that. So here, the school or education take an important part to make the knowledge is meaningful with value, of course. Okay, and the key the successful of education at school is about the teachers. And here, I taught you that teachers as the architect of peace. Okay. How it is come? The first, cultivating values. The teacher's model and teacher's value like politeness, respect, tolerance, and empathy. Okay. And here, the values that the student can reach at school seems from the teachers, the people around the school as the model. After they look about their teachers, their politeness, how to do respect to other people, not only to the student, but also to the same professions and all people at school, and then how to be tolerant each other and the empathy grow up at school. It will be memorized by the students, and it easily to become an example or a role model for the student to do something the same just like them. And the second, foundation for collaboration. Classrooms as the source location for students to work with people who are different. Yeah, of course, by the activity of learning at school, the teachers take some ways or many ways how to make the student take a part and active to learn the lesson. It's only not about to learn in a general way, but they also work in group, in a big group, in a small group. Sometimes they're doing in pairs like that, not a single person one by one. So this is one big lesson for the students to learn about how to make a social life with other people. And the third one, beyond the textbook. Yeah, even in a classroom, the student learn a lot of kinds of subjects, just like mathematics, Indonesian social, art, and so on. But the teacher should explain, should give them that the peace education goes beyond the specific subject. It's woven into every lesson, not only one lesson. For example, maybe they thought, oh, the peace education is only at the lesson of civic, for example, but it's actually not. Almost all, yeah, all the subject that they learn have knowledge or teach them about peace in their education. Okay, yeah, next slide, please. Okay, and then in this part, I'd like to tell you about my experience in being a part of YBL Challenge. Yeah, actually, our school become twice following the challenge in 2023 and 2024. Okay. Yeah, and as Mbak Sherin said, yeah, we have the team. The name is the Golden Girls. Okay. Why? Even it is they are only the young student, the junior school student. They have a big willing to learn more about peace and leadership. So that's why our school, our headmaster, give us permission to follow the challenge and being the active participant. Okay. what are the tips that I usually use to do a mentorship to them? Okay, yeah. Here you are. The power of mentorship. The first one, guiding, not controlling. Okay. Mentorship is about guiding young people to find their own voices and leadership potential. Yeah. The students usually have, because they are from various kinds of places, different culture, different way of thinking. So here we cannot do just control, just doing, oh, do like this, do like that, without any reasonable explanation. But we just need to guide them how to do something like this, how to do something like this, and then we can take a look how they move to do what we said, and then we guide them if they do something wrong, and we guide them, we show them, oh, this one is not good to do. You have to be like this, okay? And then beyond the controlling, we also developing skills, of course. Yeah. In the classroom, they are not only learn only about the facts from the school subject, but uh, the lesson also help young people to develop not only how to manage activities and people, but also the crucial skills like problem solving, empathy, and conflict solution. Okay, and the teachers um, in our school have have the ability, they learn much about how to develop a happy experience in learning, in education, not only one way of teaching, but they also learn how to develop, how to manage the student, and then with the way of teaching, with fun, interesting, but also um, meaningful for them. Okay, and because the students sometimes difficult how to develop their ability, so the teacher here have to develop the skill based on the students' strength, like that. The third one is practicing their strength. Okay, as I said, different students, different young leaders have different ability. Okay, for example, someone who have bravery to talk in front of the people, uh, and the other one, they are feel ashamed. Actually, they have ability, but they feel shy or ashamed to say in front of the people, and many more. When we know about that, so we have to support them to know something that strong from their own. So not take a look on the the bad one, but also but we look to their strength, to their strength, and the strength of them will be trained day by day. Okay. We have to train it regularly, and then so that they become better to have a big ability of their strength, like that. And then engaging and hearing. Okay. Get in touch to the young people. Get to know their feelings and their willing. Yeah, as I said, different students, especially now, we know the generation Gen is divided into some. Just there are Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and we know that different generation have different personality, right? So we have to know, we have to understand how to manage, how to get in touch to different generation around us. When we can get along with them, we can get closer with them. So everything will be easier to learn together. The last one, supporting and opening challenge. Okay. After the process, so many process to mentor them about the peace, about leadership. So it's the time, I think, to give them motivation, okay, to rise up their self-confidence and bravery, okay, minimally with a good word from us. The powerful of good words is really meaningful. Even it is something a little that sometimes we thought that it's usual, but sometimes the small thing is meaningful for them because the motivation is very important. And for example, I give them support just like, tomorrow we will have a campaign in a public place, for example. So we have to prepare it well. What do you think? What we are gonna do to prepare the activity? And then I give them, I support them to take a chance to make a plan, what they have to prepare, so that the activity will work well on the right time. Even they not really good in planning, but I still give them the chance. Okay. And then the last one, opening challenge. Yeah, I give them a wide chance to practice their leadership potential. Just like, for example, when I know the strength of one student, you are very, very good in planning activity. Okay, so this time you have to write how we have to do, what we have to do next time in the activity. And then the other one, this one is very good in handling and managing the money, for example. So you will learn about how to manage the money for the activity and so on. Even it is something small, but when we give the challenge to the students and believe them, give them trust to do it, I believe that they will do it will full of spirit. Okay, that's my experience. And then, after the activity of YBL Challenge, the first in 2023, finally, I communicate with the headmaster and the students' development. I told them how if I create a community in our school, because on that time, until now, our school is one of Adiwiyata school, and then it's very interesting because environment is become the global issues, and we have to take care of it very much. And then the teacher said, the headmaster said that, oh, it's okay, Miss Ika. If it is something good, it's okay. And then finally, I create a community environment, it is called advocate community. And until now, we have so many members, the main members, and also the volunteers. Maybe right now is about 40 students join in the community. Yeah. Okay, but Terry, can we continue to the next slide? Okay, and here are the big responsibility for the teachers. How to transform the classrooms into communities of peace. Okay, yeah. There are 4 things I think that we can do. The first one, create a foundation of respect and care. The teacher and staff at school as a model of kindness and empathy, just like I said before. It should be a practice day by day and in every time, in every moment. Okay, so the students will catch, oh, this one, the teacher is really good as my model. And the next, promote care for the environment. The teacher should explain the students that they are not only
Hi, Ibuika, are you there? I think Ibuika is having a not stable connection, but we can wait for her to come back again, and we will see how it goes.
how to manage the environment minimally in the classroom, and perhaps hello.
Hi, Ibuika.
Okay, hello. Right. Sorry for okay. Well, the next is about establish clear policy. Okay. Yeah. Teachers, good environment by the policies minimally around the class. Okay, minimally in the class. Why it has become so important? Because the roles in the class
Okay, I think Ibuika the voice is breaking and the connection is not stable right now, but it's okay. We can wait for her. Yeah, there you go.
okay,
Hey,
sorry.
Ibuika. It's okay.
Yeah.
No need to say sorry. It's okay.
Yeah, the clear policies. They learn about how to what is it, to do something with just, for example, when they have doing something bad like this. So there is a consequences For example, when they do something rude, so they should be consequences for them. They have to do something. For example, they have to uh, apologize to their friend and so on. So the class have right rules. And the next one, foster belonging and student voice. Encourage dialogue in structure meeting. Yeah, I think important to make more relationship with the students, give them space to speak up. Sometimes the student feels not safe when they talk a lot in a big classroom. Maybe they need to talk with the teacher, just two of them, and then they can communicate many kinds of topics, even it is the private one to solve their problems. Maybe they need small groups to talk, to share their experience. I think it's need to plan in a structured meeting, so it will be guided to know which one the student that grow up and which one needs help more than the others. And the last one, engage the student in leadership. Okay, and the meeting in the groups activities, or even it is maybe privately with the teachers. The teachers still give their knowledge, the value of leadership there. So they become braver, have more confidence to do something. The third one is incorporate peace education practices. The first one, restorative practice. In restorative practice, we can build relationship, respect, responsibility, repair, and reintegration among the teachers, the students, okay. And then teach conflict resolution. As we know that life, it's impossible without conflict, right? And here the student give by the teachers the ability or the way of thinking how to solve the conflict, how to manage if they face conflict in around them, so that they can practice, they can manage themselves to how to solve if there is a conflict near them. Encourage critical thinking and reflection. Okay, especially for nowadays education, critical thinking is one of a big homework for the teachers to make the student have such kind of thinking. Because you know, especially as I becoming the teachers for about 23 years, it's I feel deep so much when COVID-19 happens, and before COVID-19, and then when the COVID-19 happened, and after COVID-19, it feels different. What's something different? The student, the way of they are thinking, the way they are doing their showing their attitude is very different. Maybe I think the students before COVID, they still have the way, yeah, just like something ashamed, something shy, politeness, like that. When and they have bravery, even it is not really much. But when it is around 2019 until 2021, it still feels that their attitude is just like do not aware about something else. They're not aware about the people around them. They look selfish like that, and the way of their thinking is very low, very short. They do not like to think a lot. But after that, by doing restorative things for them for about 3 years, I think now we can feel the difference. Oh, actually, yeah, there is some what is it? Some result, some effect for after COVID-19 for the student. They have ability more about internet, yeah, about technology, and also if we want to teach them closely and they're more active, we can build them to be a better students, I think. And the way of thinking of the student will grow up little by little now by the various activities of the teacher to teach them. And the last one is reflection. Okay, we teach the student how to do reflection for everything they did. Okay. Even it is the good one or something bad, they will find it in a reflection session. It means that all the activities is cannot do just go away like that. But by doing reflection, they know that, oh, this is not a good thing. So I have to do better. I have to repair this. I have to learn more, like that. Okay, and this one, the last, build a supportive environment. Okay, we have to be a supportive teacher in teaching in the class. Support what? Support how to make the student getting better in their knowledge, in their values, attitudes, and other. Okay. How do we do it? Yeah, of course. We have to use the different type of learning materials and different models to teach the students. Different models, different materials will give so many various kind of activities. For example, the teacher usually give them just like problem-based learning. Okay, they learn about the problem first and then find the solution. And then they also can learn through the project. For education, for the school, it's usually project-based learning. Yeah, they do activities by project. And through the project, they will learn many kinds. Okay, the last one, provide psychological support. Even the student is very smart or they have a high intelligence, okay, but they also have psychological things that we have to support. Okay, just like, of course, sometimes they will feel sad, they feel gloomy, or they feel not have willing to learn. Or what happened? We have to know what happened to them and how to make them able to maintain their psychological problem. Because if we do not aware about the psychological things with the student, so everything that we teach to them will be, yeah, just like low like that. Okay, so as a human being, the social things that we have can do to our student is also giving a good support, a high support for their psychological problem if they have. Okay. Yeah, Mbak Zarin. Yeah. And here you are, such an example of a classroom transformation into community. Okay. Yeah, the picture, please. Yeah. Here you are, some examples in our school. Okay, from the classroom transformation to community. Yeah, here. The first one, there are such a kind of uh, student council, just like all this, with their ability in leading many students and other, and have a relationship with the school. Okay. This is one of the formal community for SMP students. And then this one, the community that I said, InfoCare community, they learn a lot and fighting for environment. Yes. Next. Yeah. And also there is a special forces. We call PASUS in Indonesia. Okay. For this team, they have a specific things, just like an ability in doing something same movement, the same movement on the right time, and then they are very cheer up to do that. And actually, they they are doing something best for our school outside. Next, please. This is also the gamelan team of SMP Islam Mambaul Ulum. Okay, so in our school, there are various kinds of students, and they have different interests each other. They have different ability, and one of them is gamelan team. This is they are the students who really interest in a traditional music, and they have a willing to make the traditional music is still available until next and next. Okay, that's nice. That's a positive thing. Yeah, and all the community cannot be happen without the teachers, of course. So that's why I told you that teachers are the architect of peace. Okay, here you are, the teachers of SMP Islam Mambaul Ulum who grown up the peace of leaders in our school. Okay, thank you, Mbak Serin and others. That's my experiments about.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Ika, for sharing about your thoughts on action especially from the education field. And I'm really grateful that you are sharing about teacher are the architect of peace. And also, I got something related from your presentation and from Aven presentation about wise leadership and mentoring skills that are very important for the kids and also for becoming the friends of their students and also for the communities too. Thank you, Iwika, for sharing about your thoughts on that. Okay, now we move on to our last but not least, our fourth speaker. There is Miss Nur Khalifa, or we can call her Olive, from Global Peace Leadership Corps. And please allow me to introduce our next speaker, who will talk about women leadership in advancing peace and community resilience. She is a pioneer peace builder from Global Peace Leadership Corps, one of Global Peace Foundation Indonesia program. Nur Khalifa, or Olive, is a peace activist from Indonesia who has been actively involved for over 8 years in promoting peace, youth and women empowerment, tolerance, and minority rights advocacy. She is strongly committed to advancing the youth peace and security, or we can call it YPS, and women peace security, or WPS, agenda through various initiatives at local, national, regional, and global levels. And please, let's focus our mind and give him a warm welcome.
Okay, thank you so much, Sherin, for the warm welcome. And let me also welcome everyone here. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan, Rahayu, Rahayu. So good afternoon, everyone. I think it's a bit rainy today and gloomy, I think, in my area right now. And so I'm truly delightful, everyone, to be with you today in this Act Now for a Peaceful World webinar with the spirit of International Day of Peace 2025. And I want to thanks for the organizer, Global Peace Foundation Indonesia, for making this webinar possible. A warm welcome also for all the participants, our distinguished guests, colleagues, respected educators, and friends, whether you are here locally in Indonesia or from different parts of the world. So just like Sherin said, my name is Nurrahmi, and it's really an honor to be with you today. So in this session, I will not only talk about reflecting on peace, but also exploring how each of us in our own roles and communities can contribute to building a peace. And then how to be more compassionate and more resilient, especially in highlighting women participation in peace building. So the focus of my talk is women's leadership in advancing peace and community resilience. This topic is so close to me because women in every society play a crucial role in shaping peace, stability, and resilience. As we know, women is the first teacher to the children, to the kids, to the young generation. Today, we will explore on how women, especially young women, are transforming communities into creating lasting peace. Next, please. Okay, before we dive into today's session, let's warm up our minds with a little bit of game. So here I prepare some pictures about young women figures that maybe you already know. If you know about these pictures, the first pictures, please chat in the chat box. Do you know who is she?
I think we need to ask for the international participants who might not know who is this.
Oh yeah. Maybe
So,
is there anyone know but who is she here? She is one of the famous role for women in Indonesia.
okay, anyone who wants to
Anyone.
guess?
It also open for Indonesian participants. Okay, I think no one know it yet. Okay, let me introduce her. So she is Raden Ajeng Kartini, everyone. She is known. Okay, there are a few people known, but okay, Miss Kartini. Okay, I think the one that said Miss Kartini is Kenzie. Okay, Raden Ajeng Kartini. Yeah, that's true. So we know Raden Ajeng Kartini is known as pioneer of women's rights in Indonesia, but also she is a visionary who believed that education and equality were the case to creating a more peaceful and justice society. One of the famous work from Raden Ajeng Kartini is a book. It's a compilation of letters that she sent to her Dutch friends called Habis Gelap Terbitlah Terang. In those letters, it contains with a lot of talks of her about the importance of education for women at that time, and then the struggles against gender inequality, and her hopes for social reform and more peaceful and justice society. Okay, the second picture. I think she is known worldwide. Okay, do you know who is she, everyone? She is one of young women that famous for her work in education. Yeah, that's true. Kak Lulu Indayati, that's Malala Yousafzai. So Malala Yousafzai became the youngest ever that won the Nobel Peace Prize at 2014, where she was only 17 at that time. So she grew up in Pakistan, where the Taliban, known as the extremist group, had banned girls from going to school at that time. But Malala spoke out and bravely fought a fight for girls' education. Even she survived an assassination at 2012, and now through Malala Fund, she fought and initiated various activities, especially on women education. Okay, the last slide, the last picture. Okay, do you know who is she, everyone? She's also a woman that won the Nobel Prize in 2014. Yeah, this is the hardest one. But the story of hers will really inspire everyone. Anyone know about her? Okay, let me tell the story about her a little. So, she is Laimah Gbowe. She is from Liberia. So she is mobilized women across religious and ethnic lines to help end a civil war that happened in Liberia at that time. And she won Nobel Prize at 2012 for her nonviolent struggle for women's safety and their right to participate in peace building. So all of those figures remind us from Raden Ajeng Kartini, Malala Yousafzai, and then Laimah Gbowe that women have powerful voices and powerful force for the change. This brings us to our next point about the unique role of women in peace building. Next. Okay, so what is the unique role of women in peace building? When we talk about the unique role of women in peace building, there are a few key strengths that truly stand out. From the first one, women bring empathy toward inclusivity. We know the leadership of women often comes with a deep sense of understanding and the ability to include different voices, especially those that are often left out, especially from the vulnerable communities such as the young people, disability people, that their voice are always left out. The second one is act as mediators and trust builders. Because of their closest connection within the families and communities, women are always seen as the bridges between different groups, helping to reduce tension and foster dialogue. And then the unique role of women also focus on reconciliation and healing. Women not only look at the ending of conflict, but they always try to repairing relationship, restoring dignity, and ensuring that wounds, both emotional and social, can be healed again. And the last one about the unique role of women in peace building is strengthening social harmony. They bring people together across difference, nurturing cooperation and ensuring that peace is not just temporary but lasting. Women also contribute in empathy, reconciliation, and also building bridge builders across individual groups. Next, please. So, how to empowering communities through inclusive leadership, especially for women? Because when we talk about women empowering communities through inclusive leadership, there are 4 important dimensions that I'd like to highlight to everyone's. And I also wanna reflect with the experiences that I'm working before with the refugee camp for women refugee in Sidoarjo. There are 4 K that I want to share. The first one is about grassroots engagement, foster equality. Because change begins at the community levels, where women leadership is most visible. In the refugee camp, I saw how simple activity, giving the English classes to women, it could empower them, because when they are the victim of conflict, they feel so insecure. There are a lot of anxiety coming to them. They feel powerless at that time. But by giving simple activity such as English class or giving classes that help them to write, help them to read, it's make them powerful enough. And then the second one about collaboration for sustainability. For collaboration that I did with various community in a refugee camp, it helped the children to strengthening their education by giving them an extracurricular to help them develop the creativity and the leadership. And then women also amplify marginalized voices. Through our safe space learning in the refugee camp for women, these women found their voices, how to share their opinion, how to share briefly what they want to do. I remember at one moment, there's one mother saying to me that they are feeling so powerless because they couldn't teach their children about how to read and how to write because the lack of education at that time. So when we giving them a space, a safe space to learn about them, about reading, about writing, they will with the safe space they are not feel insecure again. They feel powerful enough to teach their children about how to read, about how to write, even learning English and helping their kids to learn about English itself. And the last one is encouraging participatory leadership. As a victim of conflict, these women in refugee, most of them feel that they couldn't do anything. They feel they will always be victim forever. But by giving them a safe space, by giving them training about leadership, they can be someone that can grow up from their trauma. Next, please. So that's why breaking barrier for women and young women is matter. Is it really matter for doing that? Breaking barrier for women and young women is a peace activism. It's a crucial because lasting peace cannot be achieved if half of society, that is women, is excluded from the process. Women bring unique perspective, especially about the empathy, about the collaboration, about focus on community well-being, and that make the peace effort more inclusive and sustainable because they seen what unseen. When women are given an equal space in activism and decision making, they amplify marginalized voices and address the root causes of the conflict and strengthen the social harmony. They also can overcoming the barriers and not about the fairness, but also the justice in society. Research proves that the involvement of women more likely less than 15 years when it comes to the negotiation. Women participation in agreement include broader social concerns such as education, justice, health, and equality, and it giving more impactful. Again, next slide, please. So when faces the barriers, there's a lot of challenge that women faces, especially for the young women. Lack of mentorship and guidance. Just like our speaker said before, the lack of mentorship and guidance be a major barrier for women, especially in peace activism. Many women step into leadership without the role models or support network, which make it harder for them to navigate the challenge and sustain their activism in peace building. That's why mentorship is so essential for building confidence and passing on valuable experience, especially when the women couldn't get the access how to learn about leadership, about peace building itself. The second one is about cultural expectation. Another challenge that balancing is about cultural expectation is balancing the tradition with modern leadership roles. In many societies, women are expected focus mainly on family, right? On or on domestic responsibility, such as women always ask about when will they get married or when will they have a children. But when they are reaching a higher education, they are not considered as someone, as a woman that having a good leadership. So when women step into leadership, they often face tension between this traditional expectation and their modern role as decision makers and activism. Also, the challenge that women faced about facing skepticism and exclusion from decision making. Women most of the time discriminate, frequently facing this situation and being questioned about their abilities. Always exclude from important decision making, even when they are present. Their voices are sometimes dismissed or overlooked. The small example that we could see is in our government, where if you have heard Musrembang, most of the attendance is men, where women only include to prepare the snack, but to hear their voices, it's really exclude from the decision making. Next slide, please. Because pardon it, Aven in my area. So let me continue the slide. So there's one way. Back to the slide previous before yeah. Thank you. So there are one way that we could do together by using the Women, Peace and Security agenda. It's the global recognition of women's role in peace building began with the adoption of a UN Security Council resolution of 1325 in the year 2000. This was a groundbreaking step because there are 4 pillars that include women. The first one is about the participation, ensuring that women are fully included in peace process and decision making. And second one is about protection. Women could be a part of safeguarding women and girls from violence, especially in conflict situations. The third one is about prevention, where women address the root causes of violence and promoting inclusive approach to prevent conflict, such as by using the dialogue. And the last pillars is about relief and recovery, making sure that women's needs and voices are the central post-conflict recovery and building. In the case of Indonesia, women, peace and security already adopted in the National Action Plan, or we know as RAN-P3A, to localize in the WPS agenda. These plans already highlight the importance of women participation in peace processes, particularly conflict that affected in conflict areas such as Aceh, Poso, and Papua. One of the work that's already done by the National Action Plan in Indonesia called RAN-PE, Rencana Aksi Nasional Pencegahan Extremism, or National Action Plan on Preventing Extremism. It's a way to use a women power and way to recognize that women is a key actor in peace and security. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so I want to share a real life stories about women achieving greatness in WPS actions. Next, please. So the stories about Laima Gbowe that I already mentioned before briefly. It's about the documentary of her action and women action in Liberia, about how they try to unite women to end the civil wars. Not only they try to to gather all the voices of women, but they try to make it in a peaceful way. The women organized across religious ethnic lines, demanding a seat at the peace negotiation. So they are include and demand their voices in the negotiation and making sure that women's voices are heard and shaping the Liberia's future. And then they stood together to protect their communities, especially women and children, from violence and war. Because most of the men being a part of a conflict, being a part of the army at that time. So women stood up to bring a peaceful way, whether their ethnicity or their religion at that time, they're working together, unite to end the war at Liberia. And what's unique of this documentary about Pray the Devil Back to Hell that Laima Gbowe and the woman in Liberia try to bring is about how they're using non-violence protests, sit-ins, and even confronting directly about but toward the leaders at that times. They are using dialogue. They are using silence protests to protect the children, the young generation, the women from war at that time. And after the peace agreement, the women continued to support community healing, reconciliation, and rebuilding effort, especially the way the women try to show up for the teenager, because they are most of them being the victim of the war. Most of the children and teenager at the Liberia at that time being disabled, and this woman came to heal them, to help them reconcile about reconciliation about the situation, especially overcoming the trauma. So from this story, we know that women are not only the victim of the war, but also the agent of peace. They are breaking the barriers and ensure conflict ends and peace lasts forever. Next slide, please. So that's why when we talk about the future of women in leadership, there are 3 important steps we must take. The first one is about encourage policy reform for gender equality. Strong policies will ensure that women have equal opportunities to participate and lead in peace, especially in decision making and making policies. The second is about more platform for young women voices. The next generation of leaders should not only being prepared, but also given the chance to contribute their fresh idea and creativity perspective. And the last one is about partnership with global peace organization by connecting the local women leaders with international network to share their roles, their figures, their involvement, their influence, that they are amplify their impact on strengthening and collaboration in peaceful world. Next slide, please. That's why, last but not least, I want to call action for everyone here. I want to encourage everyone with one key message. When women lead, peace follows. So supporting women and young women in peace building is not optional. It's an essential. So I invite you guys to reflect what action that you can take to support women leadership in your community, school, or workplace. Okay, last slide, please. So that's why it's really important to empower women, because when women empowered, the world also empowered. Thank you very much for joining this important session. I will close the session with wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you so much, Oli, for sharing about your thoughts on women and peace. And also, I got something that really related to me when you shared about common challenge that faced by women leader. I feel like I'm related to these three main challenge. And also, I got something from your presentation about the four unique role that you shared before, and I would like to encourage everyone to do it too, that put empathy and bring inclusivity, and also becoming the moderator and trust builders for the others, and focus on reconciliation and strengthen social harmony. And let's hope that everyone can do the same thing like what you shared before. And I got inspired by your photography or documentation that you do before on your community or on your place. Thank you very much, Oli, for sharing about that. And now, thank you for all of our speaker for your inspiring presentation. Now we will open the floor for question and answer, and participants, you may type your question in the chat box or use the raise hand feature, and I will read them for the speakers, or I can try to call your name before you can unmute yourself. And maybe before our webinar begin, we made some question box on the form, and I would like to read the question for the speakers. Wait a minute. Okay. So we have some question on the form of the registration. It's from Arfa Sahula Rizkia. I would like to hear about practical steps that young people. Oops, sorry. Okay. I would like to hear about practical steps that young people can take in their daily life to contribute building peace. Maybe it's for Aven because it's related to young people. And maybe what can you share to Arfa about how can he or she contribute to building peace?
Yep. How we can contribute to building peace. So let's begin by ourselves first. I'm always say that peace is not just our relationship to other people, but also peace is uh, our recognition with ourselves, our situation with ourselves, how we can deal with ourselves. Yeah, the first one that we can contribute to building peace is how we can maybe it's talk about mental health, yeah, because I think Gen Z, millennials, and Gen Alpha facing a lot of mental health issues. So let's begin from ourselves. Let's care and aware our self mental health. Yeah. So if we can uh, if we can care and we can save our mental health, we can go next to people around us, maybe family, maybe our friends, maybe friends in our workplace and our school. We can just we can practice peace building as simple as we greetings every morning, and we uh, uh, maybe ask something like how's your day, and make a deep conversation as I mentioned before, as I explained before, that the key of peace building is to develop, to establish mutual understanding. So that's why the simplest way to make to contribute in peace building is how we can um, make mutual understanding with people around us. Yeah, it's so simple. Yeah, it's simple. Just how we can make a deep relationship, not just relationship by accidental, not just we are friends just because we are in the same workplace, or we just friends because we in same school, but let's make a deep relationship. Let's make a mutual understanding, and that's one I want to highlight that nowadays we are in modern era, in modernization, I think and I feel like we are too busy. We are too busy. Like a lot of noises, a lot of distraction, a lot of um, uncertain noises, and yeah, and so on and so on. That's why we need to listen, to active listening, not just uh, not just debate, not just arguing, not just competition, not just uh, arguing something and doubting and debating something, but we have to we have to listen. We have to understand what other people mind, what other people's opinion, and that's part of mutual understanding. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Aven, for sharing about how can we build peace by young people actually. And also, I would like to continue to the next question. It's from LP190. Question for Miss Ika. How do you encourage students to spread and apply the values of peace and empathy beyond the classroom? Oh, okay.
To encourage the students to learn about peace through education. First of all, we will find some materials that have relationship with peace. But before that, we learn them about the values of peace, how important the values of peace is for them before they learn more about the other knowledge. And then after that, I give them knowledge about yeah, just like a global issues or public issues that now uh, are viral or something important that they know. Uh, Actually, for SMP student, for junior school student, so far, I think their knowledge sometimes is not really wide. So we need to open up their mind to know about the world, to know about what outside their school, outside their cities, yeah, minimally in their country. Uh, so we will give the materials about those problems. For example, for the small thing, it's about environment. We know we usually celebrate or remembering them about um, something happened in a waste place that located in West Java, I think. Uh, when the place is blown up, okay, blown up, and then around 3 or 4 villages are buried by the waste, and some people killed, some people died, uh, and then the village are we lost the village because the village is full of waste. Uh, and then they just said, "Oh, really, Misika? I just know about that." So we need to open up their mind by what? By doing more literacy through not only reading books but also read many things. Read newspaper, read about something news in social media, news about uh, something they hear from the teacher. So they will know that it is something important for our life to save, just like that. The simple one, but they need to know first. And then after that, we need to do in Indonesia we said aksi nyata, yeah, the real action, even it is small. For example, we will teach them how to manage your own waste, so that something just like what happened in West Java, it's not happen in around you in your city. So what you have to do, for example, oh yeah, so what I have to do, Misika, because now there are so many foods or many things that it is wrapped by plastic, for example. So it is so difficult uh, to do different because around us plastic is everywhere. So what we have to do? So it will make the student have a high critical thinking and open their mind. What have they do to maintain their own rubbish? Yeah, for example, like that. So from learning about value and then give them various materials about minimally them, something around them, and then try to what is it, to give them opportunity to do the real action. Yeah, I think that's that we usually do in our school to teach the student about peace.
Wow, thank you, Ibika, for sharing what you do in your school to teach your student about how to make peace, how to be peace builders too. Thank you, Ibika, once again. And actually, we still have some question on the chat box, but I would like to come back to our Google form that previously we have some question for Olive. It's about what do you think is the most effective strategy to ensure that women leadership in peace building does not stop at the community level, but can also reach higher decision making space where major policies for lasting people are made? Okay, how about that, Olive?
Okay, thank you so much, Sherin, for the question. It is such an interesting question. How about the role of women to empower the role of women that already uh, working or participating in the peace building? I think the first thing first that really important for women empowerment is about how building the education and awareness not only for women but all people in the world, because by promoting this it make people realize that women and men is not a competitors or rivals. So they are human, they building together, working together on humanity. And also about the policy and advocacy, it's really important on we support policies or advocacy that's giving awareness or protect the gender equality and hold institution and accountable, and they are not promoting violence for women especially. And also having the role model that not only highlighting one figure, either men or women, but they are highlighting the male and female figure. So it's uh it's such a picture that could it can be a role model that pictures an equality, because when people see the leaders that supporting gender equality and practicing the justice society, fairness between men and women, it can become easier to normalize balanced relationship, especially between men and women, and strengthening the women to empower each other. I hope that's answered the question.
Yes, that's answered the question actually. Thank you very much, Olive, for your answer. And for the last question, it's come from the chat box. I will come back again to the chat box. It's from Harisa Firdaus Pahlawan. Thank you for the presentation, speakers. He asked or she asked how to build a healthy perception of equality between men and women emits disinformation or content that tends to build a gap in mindset. Maybe it's for all the speakers, it's for Ibika, Olive, and Aven, but maybe I will start from Aven first, if that's okay.
Okay, that's such a great question, such a very interesting question. So how healthy perception about equality between men and women? Yeah, as a sociology student, I have learned from sociology of gender. So in sociology, we learn about sociology gender, sociology of family, of course, and that's how we sociology perspective how we can build a healthy perception about equality between men and women. And equality it means how as human beings and as human women and men are have their right and they have a same position in social environment, and that's we learn from sociology that social movement by women is already happen in some country and a lot of country, and there and there are emphasized that women should have same opportunity such as men, and there are equalities that as human being, women and men all have to get a same opportunity, same chance, and there is no boundaries. There is no how to say. There is no prejudice or traditional, maybe traditional perspectives that, like Olive said before, that maybe we can reduce and we can replace replace our social norm. We can reforming our social norms with the equality and also based on humanity. That's all humanity taught us about how we can treat people, how we can treat human regarding their gender, regarding their ethnicity, race, or religion. Same because we are human regardless our identity, regardless our gender. That's for me from my sociological knowledge. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Aven, for sharing about your answer. And it's related to sociology, turns out. I'm really grateful that you answer with that for that question. And let's continue to Olive and Ibu Ika. What do you think about how to build a healthy perception of equality between men and women amidst disinformation or content that tends to build a gap in mindset? Maybe I will give the maximum time for 3 minutes for one speaker to answer this question for Ibu Olive or Ibu Ika. Okay, Ibu Olive.
Okay, maybe I will share briefly about how to building healthy relationship, because as a young generation that we living in the digital eras where disinformation, biased content often reinforces stereotype between men and women, and it's creating gaps understanding, especially about women's and men roles, especially when we living this in the Asian where patriarchy still be a part of our life. So one of the experience that I tend to do is by having a habit, by building a positive storytelling about share real example about men and women that could working together successfully in leadership, could do collaboration about peace building or community life, building such a healthy environment, because with the real stories it can shift focus from rivalry between men and women to collaboration, that women and women can be a partnership working together in building healthy peace world, especially about the equality itself. And then having the inclusive between men and women, where a safe space being okay, where the empathy put the first into the conversation, encourage the conversation being opened, where men and women could listen each other and break down the misconception that have between men and women. Because when dialogue being inclusive, it could be a healthy way. I think that's answered the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Oli, for answering that. And now, how about Ibu Ika? How to build a healthy perception of equality between men and women amidst disinformation or content that tends to build a gap in mindset.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to tell you that in education, there is no space, there is no different things between men, the rights of the people who got education. It's not because he is a woman or he is a man, he's a boy or a girl. They have the same space to get high education. And it is something crucial that the students have to know that there is no, yeah, sometimes some people say that, oh, man or boy is have a stronger mind and have a strong body. So everything that they have to learn in the class if will be give more for boy or for man. But actually, it's not like that. All the students have the same activity that they can do together. It's even it's a boy or a girl, they can do together. They can make a good collaboration. Okay, and I think girls also have more ability in uh, uh, having more knowledge sometimes, having a good writing, having many ideas, open up mind, not only boy. And uh, this is the time to make the education balance between uh, boy and girl. We not different. We do not make them different, but how to be equal, how to be work together in team, work together in group of discussion to act. Maybe this one have more ability than the boy have more ability than the girl, and then in what kind of lesson, for example, about the numeracy, but the girl have more ability in about literacy. So when they work together, it will be a good combination. They will get uh, another knowledge from other students. Uh, I think like that, Mbak Serin. So in the way of education, there is no difference between a boy and girl or man and woman. This one have to get higher education that this one. I think it's not. On fact, now, for example, when the some people still think that education it will give someone to get uh, higher space to get job, for example. I think now it's open up not only for boy, not only for men, but the girls is also have the same space to get a better work after they finish their education.
Wow, thank you very much, Ibu Ika, for sharing about your thoughts on equality between men and women, especially in this building. And I'm really grateful that you guys shared on your own perspective that Aven shared from his perspective on young people and sociology student, and also Olive perspective on women and activists as peace activists, and also Ibu Ika as the teachers who maybe always see their her students every day and see how the peace builders from the school of SMP Uno also really have so much impact on equality between men and women too. Thank you very much Ibu Ika, Olive, and Aven for sharing your thoughts. And thank you all for all the great and thoughtful questions for the participants. We truly appreciate your curiosity and engagement. So let's carry this energy forward beyond today session, and that's wrap up our Q&A session. Now I will hand it back to our MC to continue the program.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for your excellent moderation and for guiding us through today's discussions. To all the participants, please don't leave the room yet because we will share a link for attendance and certificate at the end of the webinar. We have now come to the next part of our program, the recognition of our moderator and speakers. It is my pleasure to present certificates of appreciation to our moderator first. To Cherin Angelica, thank you for leading our session today very well. We really appreciate it. And next, to our esteemed speakers who have shared their valuable insights with us today. Here, we have prepared a symbolic certificate to Mr. Marco Roncarati. Thank you for your insight on equity, governance, and youth to build sustainable peace. We appreciate your aspiring words. And next, for Mr. Reza Aven Rosyadi, we have prepared a symbolic certificate. Thank you for sharing with us about your work in peace building through youth leadership. We appreciate your inspiring words. And next, we provide a symbolic certificate too for Ms. Ika Nurrahmi. Thank you for sharing your experience in nurturing peace leadership through education. And lastly, we also provide a symbolic certificate for Ms. Nur Khalifah. We appreciate your inspiring words on women's leadership in advancing peace and community resilience. Okay, thank you once again to our moderator and all of our speakers. Now, we would like to capture this moment with a virtual group photo. So please turn on your cameras and give us your best smile. Okay, is everyone ready yet? Because we will start to take the picture right away. Please hold your pose as I count from 1 to 10. Okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation. Okay, and now we're done. And before we proceed to announce the winner for best question, please allow me to share a little about our other exciting activities from the Global Peace Foundation in commemoration of the International Day of Peace. First, here we have the Youth Peace Festival, which is a celebration designed to engage young people through creative performances, cultural exchange, and inspiring messages for peace. This festival is not just about celebrating peace, but also about empowering the youth to be an active change maker in their communities. This festival will be held on the September 21st, 2025 at the Volunteer Hub in Jakarta. And second, we have webinar with AXI, which is the Association for Headmaster and Teacher across Indonesia. This program also serves as a platform to promote Young Bridging Leaders Challenge, the program that our speaker, Ms. Ika, also talked about. This program supports teachers and students in cultivating leadership, inclusivity, and collaboration as the key elements of peace education. And the third one, we currently have an ongoing design competition in collaboration with MIDI Canvas. You can register for the competition at globalpeace.org.id/design competition. The registration will be closed on September 17, 2025. So if you want a chance to win some exciting prizes, you still have time. And don't forget to register as soon as possible. We really hope that all of you will continue to be involved and participate in these events as they are part of a bigger movement for peace that we are building together. This is your chance to take a step further and actively take a role in building peace in your daily lives. Now, we have come to the moment we've all been waiting for. We are thrilled to announce the best question for today's event. Congratulations to Harisa Firdaus Pahlawan. Yes, and for the winner, Miss or Mr. Harisa Firdaus Pahlawan, our team will be reaching out to you shortly with details on how to claim your prize. So please keep an eye on your WhatsApp for further details. Okay, thank you everyone who has participated and shared your thoughtful question and insight throughout the session. Once again, thank you and congratulations. And dear participants, before we conclude our event, we kindly ask you to take a few minutes to fill out a feedback form as it also serves as your mark of attendance. And this feedback form will only be accessible during this Zoom meeting. Okay, so please take a moment to complete it before the session ends. And kindly note that the certificate will only be sent to those who has complete the feedback form. And also, please promptly check your email after submitting the form to check for the certificate because we will not be responding for any messages or emails related to a certificate for this event after we close the Zoom meeting. You will have about 10 minutes to complete the form, so please scan the QR code or check the chat box for the link to the feedback form. And once again, we would like to inform that we will not be responding to any messages or emails regarding this event after it ends. So please make sure to complete everything by now. Now we have reached the end of today's webinar. Once you have completed the feedback form and checked your email for the certificate, you may kindly leave the Zoom room. I would like to thank all of our esteemed speakers, moderator, and participants for being part of this meaningful discussion. May today's discussions inspire stronger youth participation and collaboration for peace and unity. Thank you and see you in our next webinar. Stay safe and have a wonderful day, everyone.